Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you a new way of presenting the policies and procedures that you'll hear about from other candidates. Like the other candidates, I too will have access to other people's ideas, but what I offer you is a different way of looking at things, more vibrant, relevant to younger people, more life, more energy for Rotorua through a variety of means. For example, the CBD needs revitalising. Now, as soon as I read the draft annual plan, I realised there were some things we needed to do, including, of course, stopping the District Council from buying the Westpac building and stopping the City Focus from becoming a toilet block. I could see that we needed to make the traffic able to go all ways through that intersection. I could see we needed to bring the bus stop from Pukawatua Street over to Hirimoa Street and start respecting people instead of parking them outside winds and saying, we're here now. We need to respect everybody and raise the self-esteem that individuals have, so they think, maybe there's some hope for me in this town after all. Maybe I will be respected as a person here, even though I have low socio-economic standards or perhaps a disability. I am here for individuals to raise up the whole community through simple things like acknowledging each and every one of you and the issues that you have.
Taking a map of the city and drawing a couple of circles on it, designating one area for restaurants and another for boutiques, is planning and will actually achieve anything whatsoever to revitalise the city. Where in the planning is provision of a public transport system for when we run out of fuel, so that all our tourists and elderly will be able to get around our city? Where in our planning is recognition of the fact that CBDs don't exist anymore in most cities of the world? We have to rethink our planning now. We will never have a better opportunity. I've suggested an idea that I think needs investigating, an alternative to the government spending 120 million or so to bulldoze an eastern arterial through people's lives, lands and heritage, merely so that logging trucks, which will probably be an uneconomical form of transport to Tauranga in 15 to 20 years' time, can get there 5 minutes quicker. My investigations indicate that instead we could have an environmentally friendly and sustainable overhead monorail powered by geothermal energy from a park and ride at the airport, crossing the lake with amazing views of our tourists of Sulphur Flats and the museum on its way to the foreshore. A foreshore incorporating a 5-star hotel complex and transport complex, a waterfront boardwalk of upmarket restaurants, cafes and bars. Our lakefront deserves something of the calibre of the Sydney Opera House. Why not a national centre for performing arts? Beijing has one, even Trinidad has one, so why not New Zealand, and what better place than Rotorua? Before you ask, the Sydney Opera House was commercially funded, aided by a lottery, not rates. So why can't we do the same?
So we can now harness the geothermal energy and we can power our city again, and Pahutu will still play. We can also become the spa city of the Pacific. That was a plan begun in '99 when I was on council, and nothing's been done to just join the dots on the fabulous assets that we've got here of geothermal in abundance. We've got the wonderful walkways, the cycleways now, our beautiful lakes that are improving and still a work in progress, the walkways, but also our collective talents as people. We've always been diplomats in Rotorua, we've always been proud ambassadors, and I want you to feel proud about your city again. Now that brings me lastly to the culture of change that we're going to have to bring through to make this happen, to turn council from not just being a regulatory enforcer, but one that says, Haere mai, come here, have we got the place for you? And will we walk beside you in business to undo the knots that are happening and the red tape and say we will help you if it fits our vision of the spa city of the Pacific and the clean energy centre. What a change in attitude that would be. We hear it from developers, we hear it from investors, we hear it from people that wanted to come and start a business here but found it too hard. I'll look as a top priority at the development levy. And I think that's something that we have to start to incentivise.
Started off with the Eastern Arterial route. I was told that the Eastern Arterial route was just to address the congestion of traffic along Kenai Road, but now another story is coming through. That it's they're wanting to get the logging trucks through to the Tauranga ports. So there's new information that's coming through of a real reason, and it's all for Crown profits, which you and I personally may not see. So this is why I'm coming to challenge this and the intention of the Eastern Arterial route. It needs further investigations, I say, before we just push a huge highway, 4-lane highway through the Ngāpuna land, and I do oppose the Eastern Arterial route. As a local Te Arawa descendant, I support our people of Ngāpuna. I believe in Rotorua residents. I believe in the answers coming out from the people here to address what's been happening business-wise in the CBD. Another one, of course, is the council's high debt of 158 million present, we've been told. It costs 10 million a year to manage this council on top of that. So by 2014, that debt is supposedly have reached 168 million, and it's climbing higher and faster. $62 million of that debt belongs to the airport too. So working together, again, teamwork and leadership-wise for this council, and the Mayor's position, working as part of the team for the council is very important. So I started off going for this mayoral position and started off with just a few things that were big issues the district is faced with, but now it's growing. It's sad to say that the list is growing of issues that the district is
because for the last 10 years we have had unmodified, unqualified opinions from the Officer of the Auditor General, and if you are aware of the Officer of the Auditor General, they are very tough in assessing councils and the way we operate. You've seen Christchurch, you've seen Environment Canterbury, you've seen Kaipara be taken to task over some of the issues they are facing. This is a well-run council, well in control. We've had clean bills of health for the last 10 years from the Office of the Auditor General. When you elected me in 2004, the real driver of the time was the quality of the Te Arawa lakes. You'll be aware in 2004 the Crown gave the lake beds, the 12 Te Arawa lake beds, back to Te Arawa as through the Lake Settlement Bill. They formed a group called the Rotorua Te Arawa Lakes Strategy Group. It was set up under statute, and it was to drive the cleanup of the 12 Te Arawa lakes. You'll recall in 2003 we had toxic algal blooms in Lake Rotoiti. It wasn't a good look for a premier tourist destination of New Zealand. I took that on task as 2004 as a key driver for the future, and I'm delighted to report the progress today of the cleanup of our 12 Te Arawa lakes, led by me as chair of the Te Arawa Lakes Strategy Group. There's 3 partners, the Lakes Trust as the owners, Bay of Plenty Regional Council and Rotorua District Council. I've been chairing that for the last 7 years, driving the cleanup. And if you look at this pamphlet, and it was distributed last week through the media, 2003, all those red dots, all those pins were red. They were all declining in water quality. This report card is the 2012-2013 report card for our 12 Te Arawa lakes. You'll see 6 are on the mend, 3 are stable, 2 are still difficult, and Lake Okaro down the bottom end of our catchment is still no problem.
And then we will get our lovely volunteers at the back to come forward and collect your ballot papers. And just give our volunteers a few moments to collect those ballots before we move on to the next part of today's. I want to thank Steve Chadwick, Bob Kent, Helen Hindmarsh, Rangi Maria and Kevin Winters. In regards to our secret ballots, read it out. First place with 74 votes, Steve Chadwick. Second place, Bob Kent with 46. Kevin Winters in 3rd place, and Helen Hindmarsh in 4th place, and Rangimarie Bosman in 5th place. Another big round of applause for all of our candidates. Look, we want to thank you for your time. It's important that our candidates are challenged.